Okay, this video is going to be a little weird. This was a sponsored video, but now it is officially not. And I'm going to get into the details about this, but I have here a 4-bay or 4 NVMe cloner here, and you can read and write to it also. But I kind of want to just go over what happened and what's going on with this because it's going to be interesting, so stick around. Like I said, this is a 4-bay cloner, and you can also read and write to this. This was sent to me by Coolpie, that's C-O-O-L-P-I-E. And it's not sponsored anymore, like I said, but regardless, I would have gave my true feelings about this, but it really turned ugly. There was major problems in what was advertised and what I was getting, and I went back and forth with the supplier of this, and I had to send them screenshots and videos, and it got into a mess. I shouldn't have even got into all that, to be honest, but just as kind of a quick, not disclosure, but kind of just to give you a feeling for this right off the get-go, it does work. It's not that it doesn't work, it just doesn't work as advertised. So I'm going to get into a little bit, but we're not going to go too in depth with this as I was with my other video. I kind of made it and then it turned into a big mess. Anyway, let me get this unboxed to show you what's going on. Obviously this is not going to be a new unboxing, but you do get your documentation. This did come in a plastic bag, but here is your cloner itself. Basically, we have a percentage sign, 25, 50, 75, and 100% if you're going to be cloning. You can clone up to 3 targeted drives on this with one source, obviously. You got your push button right here to hold in for 6 seconds, and then it'll start cloning. You also, on this side, you do have a power on and off switch. You have your USB Type-C if you want to connect it to your computer and you want to read and write to it. You can act like this is just an external docking station if you really wanted to. You have a fan. This has 2 built-in fans that will semi-cool what's going on here. And there is a switch for the fan, by the way, and then you have your DC barrel style connector right there for your power for the unit. This does the offline cloning, so you don't need to connect it to a computer to do any kind of cloning. But you do have a giant heat sink on the back here and vents throughout the rest of it. In the rest of the box, we have a Type-C to Type-A power or cable right here. Now this one, obviously, no, I don't want to say obviously, but this one will not get your max speeds. What it does come with is a Type-C to Type-C, much thicker cable, and this one was, quote unquote, rated for 40 gigabits per second. And then in this white box here, we do get our power supply, our power brick. So that's what comes in the box. And let's dive in a little deeper here. Okay, we're not going to monkey around with the Type-A connector here. That's kind of useless. I mean, it works, but it's just going to work slower depending on what you're actually doing with it. Okay, just to be a little transparent here, we do have a Samsung 980 Pro and I have a Western Digital Black SN850. Both of these are Gen 4x4. Okay, I want you to just realize that they are. Now this one right here is a 1 terabyte, the Samsung, and the Western Digital is a 2 terabyte. So now we need to talk about what's going on with this thing. I have tested this and I will show you firsthand. I will do it again. But the Western Digital right here tests perfectly fine. They claim 1600 for reads and about 1600 for writes, give or take a little bit. If I put in the Samsung 980 Pro, doesn't matter what size it is, it will read about 1600 in writes, but only about 500 or 600 in, it will read 1600 in reads, but only about 500 or 600 in writes. Why? I have no idea. I've tested 2 of mine. I've formatted both of them and initialized both of them and ran them again. That did not work. So I've also tested them in different positions. I've also tested, I do have a 970 Evo Plus, but guess what? According to their specs and according to them, if it's a Gen 3 by 4, it will not perform at 1600. This is only set up to perform its max with a Gen 4 drive. I think that's ridiculous because they're cheaper and they don't want to spend the money to actually include previous generations. Now, why wouldn't a previous generation run at its max speed? I don't know. That's a little silly to me. And I'm going to be rambling on a little bit in this video, but I just kind of wanted to drive home that this thing does work. It just doesn't work, and they've changed a little bit on their website, or actually on Amazon's pictures. They've changed it from a 40 gigabit per second to a 20 gigabit per second because of me. And I kid you not, that's what they changed, but they did not highlight that this does not work with the Samsung 980 Pro. Now, I do not know if it works with the 990 Pro. I have them in my other computer here, but I'm not willing to take them out. I think this out of the box should have worked perfectly fine with this 980 Pro. So it's just kind of funny to me. Now, let's just demonstrate a little bit, and you can see firsthand. Okay, in order to get this to work, just plug it in like so. We are going to, you don't have to plug this in the computer right away. I'm just going to flip that switch, get an LED light that comes on, and you do have an LED light here that it is reading. Now I'm going to plug in my USB Type-C. So we may not get the correct speeds out of this computer. I may have to switch to another one because this one does not have Thunderbolt, and this is Thunderbolt capable. Okay, as we can see here, we do have two drives. It's my C drive in the actual computer and my D drive, which is the one that we just hooked up. Now, this one actually says 500 gigabytes. Maybe I plugged in the wrong one. No, it's a 2 terabytes. That's strange. Maybe it's not reading it. It's reading it. I don't know why it said 500 gigabytes because I have a 2 terabyte drive plugged in right now. All right, for whatever reason, my 2 terabyte Western Digital Black is only reading a 500 gigabytes. I don't know if this thing just developed another issue or not, but I have the Samsung 980 Pro in there right now. Let's go ahead and open up Crystal Disk Mark, and let's go ahead and just test the speeds on this. I want to show you. We're on the D drive. And we should get this, well, on here we may not get the max because this is not, this does not have Thunderbolt built into it, so we may not even get what we're supposed to here. Okay, so we can actually see now, and I'm seeing a little different results, that now I'm getting 1300, which is very strange because that is not Thunderbolt. And when I connected up to Thunderbolt on a different PC, I was only getting about 500. This is very strange. So I don't quite know what's going on. Now, let's go ahead and turn this back off. Let's go ahead and unplug this one. And we're going to plug in this Western Digital 2 terabyte again. All right, so far I am definitely getting better. Instead of Thunderbolt, I am definitely getting better with a Type-C at 20 gigabits per second port. So this is very, very strange to me, and I'm kind of a little upset to myself by not testing this computer. But oh, look at that. So that one right there is only getting 400. So it's actually the opposite of what I tested on another one. We're going to pull that other computer out, and I'm going to test that one. This one right here does not have Thunderbolt, so I can't do it on this one. But this card is also not reading correctly, and I'm wondering if I can do a clean on it and get this back up. Because that's not reading correctly. That's a 2 terabyte. Go CMD. We're going to run it as administrator. We're going to do disk part. Oh, part. Oh, wait a minute. It's disk part is one word. Ah, spelled it wrong again. Disk part. There we go. Now we need to list disk, and we have 2 of them. Look at this. This is actually showing 2 terabyte. So my one right here is a 1 terabyte, but look at this. It's only showing 500 gigabytes. We are going to clean this one, because see right down here, it's disk 1. I'll even pull it up in the disk management. So we have unallocated space for whatever reason. I don't know what the heck happened here. Maybe that was part of, let's see here. Now we don't want to assign a letter. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I wonder if I should be able to expand that, which is actually weird, because I don't want to, see, D is missing. Okay, so we're not going to do that. We're going to uninitialize it. Oh, wait a minute, wait. Extend volume. Let's extend this. Let's test it again. And, yep. There we go. Okay, so now that we have, so we're not going to do this anymore. And we're going to, actually, there we go. Now it's showing the 2 terabytes. Let's do another test. You never know. I don't know. It might have been something where I was cloning something and it automatically partitioned it to be smaller. I have really no idea what the heck happened there. Okay, so we're still getting the same results. I am going to clean it once. We are going to reinitialize it, and then we'll go from there. We'll do one more test. Then we're going to switch over to the other computer and see what the results are.
Disk list. Nope. Disk part. This disk, and then we're going to go select. Oops. Select disk 1. And we're going to clean. Alright, now we have no more disk there. We can actually initialize it right through here, which is kind of nice. And we are going to come up to disk management. Oop, that was device manager. Disk management. And we have right here a new drive to set up. Create a new simple volume. And there we go. Alright, let's run the test one more time.
Can you imagine that? the writes got worse for a second, and now they're coming up to 450. There's something really wacky, I think, going on with this device. I'm not liking it that much, but just for a second there, it had 195 megabytes a second. Then it jumped up to 450 something, and now it's up to 700. So it's not very consistent. We are going to get out our little small stuff computer here. I'm going to hook this thing up, and we are going to test this out again. All right, so we got this computer up and running. We're going to go ahead and turn this on, and we're going to give that same drive the same exact test. So it pops up here, no problem, in our Windows. I do have to get the mouse. All right, so we're looking at the same one, D drive. Let's open up Crystal Disk Mark. And we're going to test the D drive and see what kind of results we get from the Thunderbolt connection, which is technically faster. This is Thunderbolt 3.4 and USB 4.0. So, see, and it's actually getting slower. And this is sort of a brand new build. This motherboard is actually one generation newer than the one in here. Okay, so there is a prime example. We are getting 1600 and 1600, almost 1700 in the write or the reads, but 1600 in the writes. That is more than double of what it was getting through USB-C. Now, maybe someone out there can explain this a little bit better, but why going through Thunderbolt, it's working on one better than this one, but this one is getting better on the reads. Not by much, but by a couple hundred megabytes. 100 megabytes. Why? Okay, so that test is over. Let's go ahead and power this off. And now I'm going to show you something very weird. Now this one, because this is how I perform the test. This one's going to get worse on the writes. All right, look at that. It's not finished yet, but we are only just under 600 megabytes a second. It flip-flops. Why? I'm so lost when it comes to that. That should not be the case. All right, so right here it is. It is $200. I'm telling you, this is way overpriced, even with a 20% coupon. Extremely overpriced. So right here we can see the unit. Let's see. Okay, so we have right here, it says 4-bay. Press and hold the clone for 6 seconds. Yakety yak. This one, I have done this test going from one source to 3 targets and one source to 1 target. I did test this one. I had 130 or 140 gigabytes, and it says it does 256 in 14 minutes. Well, I had 140 gigabytes, and it took like 18 minutes. So, yeah. Definitely something wrong with this unit in that. This one claims these are the speeds. Yeah, up to. I get that it's up to, but it says USB 4 Gen 3 by 2 interface with a max bandwidth of up to 40 gigabytes. Or gigabits, excuse me, gigabits. But right here, look, it says 20 gigabits. So they changed this from 40 to 20. According to my findings, and then, but now they're still saying down here that it's 40 gigabits because it's supposed to be split between all of the source and 3 targets, which that would give you 10 gigabits per second each, which is weird because then they claim it's 1600 megabytes a second, which is 1.6 gigabits per second. So very strange in how they're advertising this. But I just, you know, when it says USB 4, and then I'm hooked up to a USB 4, but before I was hooked up to a USB 20 gigabits per second. So they just, I don't know, something's wrong with this unit. It's not that it doesn't work, but you can see what I'm using here. So quite honestly, it's not, I really don't recommend this unit that much. It works, but going between this computer and then this one, and this one is USB 4, that one isn't, and that one works better on OneDrive than it works on here when this is USB 4. I'm scratching my head and it hurts, and I just don't know what the heck they're thinking when they don't do all this testing. So this is why this is not a sponsored video anymore, and they told me so, just to keep the unit and don't make the video. But I'm making a video to let you guys know if you have this and you're experiencing the same problems, or to just stay clear of it, or just your expectations when you do go to do it. So one of the last things is this does support offline cloning, and I want to show you and hopefully demonstrate, and hopefully it does the same thing. But we have a, let's see, I want a 2 terabyte. We're going to put a 2 terabyte in the source. That is the one you're going from, and then we're going to put the one we're going to. So let's just put this Sabrent in. It really, well, it really doesn't matter. But we'll put the Sabrent in. This is a 2 terabyte to a 1 terabyte. This should not work. So this is the offline cloning. You should get the, yep. We get the LEDs that both of them are there, and then we hold down on the button for 6 seconds or 5 or 6 seconds, and we should not see that 25% blink, even if I'm holding them down, because, yep, so it's not. And what that means is it can't go from a 2 terabyte to a 1 terabyte. Now, let's go ahead and switch these. We're going to turn this back on. Now we have a 1 terabyte going to a 2 terabyte. And we are going to hold down on this button. We're going to see them all come on once, and then the 25% should start flashing. There we go. And that means that at least the firmware knows, but it kind of sucks that you can't, you know, clone otherwise. I'm going to shut that back off because I really don't want to do that clone. So yeah, I was a little disgusted, but at least you know now. Well, this is one company that I probably won't be working with again, because if they're that incompetent to only have one drive and test with only one drive, because I did get an email them stating, oh yes, when we went and tried different PCs, whatever that meant, I don't know why you don't have different drives, but we went and tried different PCs. Yeah, we weren't getting the read speeds either. So why wouldn't you test this out on multiple different drives and see how it reacts to different computers before you release it? So anyway, that's my rant on it. Leave your comments down below. I don't know if you're going to on this video, but leave them down below. Don't forget to give that thumbs up for that algorithm. If it supports it or not, just support me. And until next time, guys, take care.